and I want to welcome you to another episode. In fact, our second episode of the ASKCRAIGTEE podcast. And so if you're tuning in for the first time, our mission on this podcast is to educate, equip, and empower business owners like you to take control of their business through the transference of knowledge. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Last week, if you tuned in with us, or even if you didn't, what we did is we just set the stage for what this podcast was going to look like. And today, I'm excited because we're going to actually kick things into motion, and we're going to cover our first topic. Our first topic is trends in technology for 2024. In fact, it's almost the end of October. Halloween's coming up, or whatever you got planned for the end of this month. But here's the reality. You've already lost 1 month of the 90 days towards the end of 2023. It's gone, folks. 2023 in terms of technology is over. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about the technology trends that I've identified as what's going to be really important to focus on in 2024. Because if you're running a small business right now and you're not embracing technology, I guarantee you have already lost millions and millions of dollars. And that sounds like a sensationalist claim, but it's the reality. Because business owners, if you're listening to me, and I hope you are, technology is not going anywhere. And I keep saying this to people, and people nod their heads and they say,
yeah, I understand.
But the reality is that if you're not embracing technology, your business is going to fail. Let me say that again. If you're not embracing technology going into 2024, your business is going to fail. So what I want to go over today with you is what a lot of people are starting to talk about is digital transformation, right? So we're going to use that term as kind of the encapsulating terminology, because let's be honest, there's a lot of TLAs, a lot of 3-letter acronyms out there on the internet trying to describe all the things that are cool. You've got AI, you've got IoT, the Internet of Things. You've got all these different descriptors, but I just want to put it in one bucket. It's digital transformation. And the first trend that's really, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, okay? It's AI. But there are so many different depths to AI. I want to just touch on a couple of those today. And before I get into that, I do want to remind you that if you do jump on to the podcast, whether you're watching live or you're watching on a replay, please put your comments into the chat there on Facebook, because we will get to your questions and we will answer them. If we don't do it live on this episode, we will answer them on another episode. And we really appreciate you asking those questions, because that's the whole point of Ask Craig T. You can ask Craig T. So AI, let's talk about AI. So AI, as people know it now, first thing that comes to mind, ChatGPT, right? I'm sure there'll be something on the screen that'll flash and say ChatGPT right there, because everybody's talking about AI and ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is amazing. But here's the thing, ChatGPT is not the only player in town. AI has so many different dimensions to it, and I want to really dig into a couple of those so that you have something that you can leave this podcast and you can go and do some research on. And I encourage you to do that, because education is knowledge, knowledge is power, right? And so the more education you get, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have to stand out against those other people that are in your same space. So I want to talk about AI, and I want to talk about 2, maybe 3 different types of AI. The first one is kind of what everybody's used to, generative AI. Right? When I say generative AI, what I actually am saying is ChatGPT. There it is, flashing on the screen again, probably. Generative AI simply means you can prompt AI to have it create. That's the key word, to create. Generate, create. I want you to think of those 2 words together. So creative AI, if you will. So you can put in, hey, write me a song that is in the feel of blues that has to do with, me losing my truck and my job and my wife, right? Oh, wait, maybe that's country music. I don't know. It's probably the same thing. But generative AI, think of it as creative. It can write song lyrics. It can write poems. Now we're moving into this idea of binary in using interpretation over images, right? Being able to create images, right? Things like Midjourney. Those are all examples of generative AI, okay? The other one that I'm going to jump to the other end of the spectrum is what we call predictive AI. Now, this is the future. This is our first future trend for 2024. And you need to hear me on this, because this really talks a lot about data, right? There's this other trend that's been going on for probably about 15 to 20 years now. It's a term called business intelligence. And business intelligence is simply that. It's the idea of making intelligent business decisions based on data. Now, up till recently, all that has been done by manual computation or looking at trends and things like that. But now we have the ability through quantum computing, which is also one of our trends that we're going to talk about today, to look at massive amounts of data, right? Quantum amounts of data, doing quantum computations, to be able to create data analysis in seconds, right? To be able to look at certain patterns and trends that we would normally do manually, but now we can do with the computer. And that's cool, but that's not predictive AI. Predictive AI takes that idea of quantum computing, massive data analysis at scale, and being able to make, you guessed it, predictions, right? It's the name, it's predictive AI. Think about this for a second. You're already starting to see the immersion of day trading, where people are using AI platforms, different tools that are used for doing exactly the same thing. Quantum computing, data analysis to do what? Predict future trends in things like the stock market, Bitcoin, on the blockchain, right? But think about the application of this inside of your business. What if you could take data at scale of your behaviors of your customers that you already have, and you could put it through a predictive AI platform, and it could actually tell you a marketing strategy of the 5 things that you need to do in order to target that particular client base. Huge. Okay, so obviously had a lot of caffeine this morning, and I'm super amped up about this. One more thing inside of AI, and then we'll move on. You got generative over here, you've got predictive over here. Here's the one that no one's really talking about right now. And I think that this is the one that really at the core kind of concerns people when we talk about AI, right? We mention AI or even the mention of ChatGPT, and people get these shivery feelings. They start to get nervous, right? They're like, oh my gosh, the world is gonna end, the computers are gonna take over. And that's really what this other AI is. Not that the computers are gonna take over, but it's called adaptive AI. So what does that mean? Well, you've got this idea of generative, right? We can create. You've got this idea of predictive. We can do trend analysis and data analysis at scale. But when you enter into adaptive AI, you're starting to talk about the convergence of both of those things into a dimension of AI that most people are really just starting to learn about, and that's machine learning, right? The ability to take hardware, to take a piece of equipment and to put a code base on it, to give it an application, a program, software, if you will, and to allow it to function and behave. And this is the keyword, to learn, adapt, right? So you have generate, create, predictive, right? You're telling the future. And then you have this idea of adaptation, about being able to learn, to be able to come to life, if you will. Not that things are really going to come to life, but the ability, right? You have to remember that artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence. So we are supercomputers in our own right, but we've only just tapped into the ability to be able to process data, right? To be able to develop and create things, and to be able to adapt. So these 3 forms of AI that I'm showing you, this generative, adaptive, and predictive, really are the essence of AI, which is the simulation of human intelligence. I'm gonna leave that one right there because that's a huge can of worms we could continue to open up. But I want to talk a little bit about the next trend. This is a term you may or may not have heard of. I've seen it a couple of times in some of the different places where I read, but it's called, and hear me, phygital. It's kind of like physical and digital put together, phygital. It's Phytigital, I think, phygital. Phygital, phygital. Phygital. Can I say phygital one more time? Phygital on the screen. Spell it for people. Phygital. Phygital convergence is this idea where artificial intelligence, machine learning over here, this new nebulous thing that we have going on, meets with our physical world, where we're able to converge the 2 things together. And you probably think, well, that's really scary. I'm not sure that I want that to happen. Well, I have news for you. It's already happened, okay? Here's an example. When we use something like Teams or Zoom or Slack from a communication standpoint, right? What are we doing? We're taking a physical representation, just like we're doing right now, doing this podcast live. We're using technology in the digital world to capture my physical worldly appearance, right? I'm a real person, right? You can touch me, squeeze me, pinch me. Don't pinch me. But you can also see me on this digital convergence right here where you're looking. This is digital convergence. Also in things like social media, right? Everybody loves social media. And how long have you been using social media? Well, if you've been using social media for more than 5 minutes, like you are right now, then you have experienced phygital convergence. You are taking things from your real world, right? When you grab your phone and you take a picture of something in the real world, your food, your friends, your spouse, a vacation location, whatever it is that you're doing, and you then transfer it into something digital like TikTok or on Facebook, you have now experienced phygital convergence. Here's why I think it's relevant for businesses, right? Being able to take a digital representation of something and actually put it into play into your business allows you to capture and maintain some of those world-like experiences that you have and put them into the digital. And so there are so many different places where that can become applicable in business, and we can't get into all of that right now. But remember the term phygital convergence. That is a trend coming in 2024. And we'll probably do a separate podcast or some training or class or something like that around that one technology. So this next one's kind of weird, right? Because as I'm sitting here and I'm on digital convergence, I'm going to talk about sustainable technology, okay? This is for all the people in the world, I could label, but I won't, that love the earth, right? My birthday is actually on April 22nd. I'm an Earth Day baby, so I actually love the earth, right? I think it's just how I'm created. But here I am as a technology business coach talking about technology, but we need to be really conscientious of the sustainability, right? And what I mean by that is I've always said I don't like paper, right? I don't like to print things out. And yet here I am, I have some paper in front of me for notes, right? I have a sticky notepad, but more and more we are moving into this idea of sustainable technology. And what that means is there is a direct impact, a personal impact on the environment. So some sustainable technologies include things like being more environmentally friendly. When we do things like, electric vehicles, right? Tesla, that's technology, guys. Those things are great, and they create an alternative energy solution to gas and oil. I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying that's what they do. But we also have to be conscientious of things like battery disposal. Where do we source those materials from, right? These are technologies, electric bikes, public transportation. Here in Colorado Springs, where I live, they're already deploying out fully electric buses, getting away from the idea of that carbon footprint. So as we start to look at 2024, there are different opportunities in technology that allow us to be more sustainable. Things like quantum computing, like we talked about earlier, rather than printing out spreadsheets on pieces of paper and having to do all of that analysis manually, right? Things like cloud computing. How many people have things in the cloud? Yes, everybody has stuff in the cloud. If you're using something like Google Drive or OneDrive, or you're using, there's so many different things. What are those green computing solutions? What are they? What infrastructure is going to impact your business? What decisions are you going to have to make when it comes to sustainable technology in 2024, right? There are a lot of software tools that are designed for us to be able to accomplish this, and they're more eco-friendly in manner. So challenges that our developers are going to face about more sustainable technology are going to be related to this idea of being socioeconomic, having more green alternatives. We also become increasingly alert and presence of this new term that you might start to hear a little bit more in 2024 called greenwashing. Superficial efforts intended purely to generate positive PR around technology. What does that mean? That means you're going to see a lot of companies that are going to come out and they're going to start talking about,
I'm green, I have technology deployed, and I'm green, and you should use me, and you should buy my services.
Be careful, because that's greenwashing. People, they may not actually have a solution like that in play, but they're going to try to use it to leverage your business, right? So that you can become, they can become part of their business rather. Moving on, cyber resilience. So I'm using this term because it's just a little different than the term most of us are used to hearing, which is cybersecurity, right? So I think a lot of people in 2023 have become very aware that cybersecurity is a thing, and I talk about it a lot when I speak. But cyber resilience is just kind of a step beyond. The cybersecurity industry is expected to grow to over $10 trillion by the end of 2024. So what does that mean for you in business? So in the face of fast-growing threats, technology solutions designed to be a defense mechanism and provide us with a fighting chance, these are things that you need to consider for your organization. What are you doing to prevent cyber attacks? What are you doing to protect the data for your clients? What are you doing to be more cyber resilient? So cyber resilience, it goes beyond cybersecurity though. Like I said, it encapsulates measures that can be taken to recover and ensure continuity. So when something gets breached, right, if you have those defenses up, How fast can you recover? How fast can you bring things back online? What kind of data integrity have you maintained? This might mean having remote working procedures in place to ensure businesses can function when staff can't get to your main location. What if your headquarters had to shut down for something? I don't know, like a pandemic, because that never happens, right? A technology solution might actually be the thing that you need to go to, but you need to consider security and your resiliency as part of that. So moving along to our final, and I touched on this in the beginning, quantum computing. So there's been a growing buzz around this phrase, around quantum computing, for a while now. I believe in 2024, this is going to be the year, and so I'm making a prediction safely. I don't believe the end of the world predictions are possible. I don't think I can tell you when we'll reduce the carbon footprint by a certain percentage. I can't tell you when what the economy is going to do. I almost said when the economy is going to crash, but I don't want to go there. But I can tell you with a fair amount of certainty, because of my experience and my research, that 2024 is going to be the year that you're going to start to set into motion transition for tangible benefits around quantum computing. They're capable, like I said earlier, of carrying out various vast number of calculations. They can be done simultaneously. You can do them in weird kind of ways where you are able to do superpositioning, quantum physics. It enables people to do things at the quantum bit. It's called Qubit or Qubit, Qubits. Look that up. Those types of functions can exist in multiple states, and I don't mean like Colorado and Wyoming. I mean in a state, a physical state, simultaneously, rather than a linear state like a 1 or a 0, very binary, right? It's either this or that. It's, your light is on or it's off, right? That's binary. It's ones or zeros. You're actually functioning at a computer bit level. Early investors, and this is key, in quantum technology include banks and financial service organizations. Right now, think about the implications in the economy and in the financial world for the ability to be able to enhance AI and develop applications that deploy this concept of quantum physics. Quantum computing, sorry, not quantum physics. Quantum computing doesn't speed up every job for computers, but in 2024, I do think that we're going to start to see the benefits applied across heavy computing fields like financing and banking. This also includes things that are really interesting, like drug discovery, right? There's this project going on right now about genome sequencing, cryptography, in meteorology, material science, the optimization of complex systems, how traffic patterns flow through large cities. There is so many applications for quantum computing right now. The thing that's interesting to me in all of the research is that there's so much data, right? Going back just to generative AI, the reason generative AI works is because there is a predetermined data set out there that it pulls from. So it can't be trained like in ChatGPT, it can't be trained, but you can leverage the data. But quantum computing takes it to a whole nother stratosphere. It allows you to be able to process and analyze that data that we have. So I think the problem we have right now is we have too much data and not enough ability to process it. And quantum computing is going to be the field leveler in that regards. So that's what I have for you. I think I covered top 5 trends for 2024. A little bit of education in there for each one of those. I hope it added value to you. Thank you so much for joining the Ask Craig T podcast again this week, episode 2. Next week, episode 3, something special for you. We're actually going to be on the road, so we won't have this cool set. We'll probably be somewhere on the road between Colorado and New Mexico, and we're going to take the whole production team out, and we're going to talk about how to leverage CRMs, right? Something we didn't talk about today, but a CRM, customer relationship management database. This is a trend that has been coming through something called SaaS, software as a solution, for about a decade now, and I believe it's hit critical mass. Every business needs a CRM. If you don't have one, or even if you do, tune into our podcast next week, because I believe you're going to pick up some great nuggets that are going to help you realize how that technology can help scale your business. And as always, I'm Craig Tomanini, the founder of Ask Craig T and the host of the Ask Craig T podcast show. Have a great week.